So I guess it actually is Nightmare November because didn't forget about the Nightmare on Elm Street series. I was taking like a night off from those. And I'll have 3 and 4 up tomorrow, tomorrow night most likely. But figured these videos are easier to get done, the little watch me watch ones. So I said, why not watch another nightmare of cinema with Troll 2 from 1991, directed by Claudio Fragasso, but he doesn't even use his real name here, Draco Floyd or some shit like that, some stupid name. So even he knew this was terrible. But I got like 25, 30 minutes into the movie and just my fucking laptop just restarted for no reason. I lost the whole fucking file. So it is a nightmare. Watching this movie, it'll fuck up every other plan you have. But let's watch again the beginning year of Troll 2 and finish it, hopefully. I was saying Grandpa Seth's ghost was fucking my camera up. And then he decided, fuck you, I'm just going to turn your computer off completely. So, fuck you, Grandpa Seth. And to get the big elephant out of the room, yeah, there's no trolls in this whole movie. They're all goblins. And I know it was the American distribution wanted to market it after this. I didn't even know if that movie was successful, but the first Troll. So they made a Troll 2, even though there is Troll none in this movie. All goblins. So right there is just one glaring issue with this movie. And I have seen the documentary about the director talking about how he intentionally made this a bad film and everything like that. I don't give a shit what he says. This was absolutely meant to be taken seriously. I think it had $100,000 budget. Seems about right, actually. But there's no, like, because when you try to recreate cheesiness, it almost never works. Like, look at all the cheesy, schlocky 80s movies. You can't recreate that. That just kind of happens organically. And then as you watch back and you look at these movies, you're like, oh, it's so bad. This is so cheesy, but it's hilarious. That is such a hard thing to recreate intentionally. I've seen it done a few times, very few. So it's very hard to do. So him saying that he meant for this movie to be this bad, yeah, no, he didn't. He's a fucking liar. Anyone could do that. Anybody could say that after they finish a terrible movie that they made, because I meant it to be terrible like that. That was the plan the whole time. Yeah, no, you made a terrible movie and it just stuck and became one of those movies everyone likes to riff on. So let's riff on it. Grandpa Seth is one of the creepiest grandpas in a movie. Like maybe the one from M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit. Those grandparents come close. He's fucking terrifying. And this kid has to see him imaginary all the time. I feel bad for Joshua. And the girl in the opening story that Grandpa Seth is telling Josh, she has the most obvious fake freckles drawn on her face. Like, did they really need someone with freckles? Then why not cast somebody with natural freckles? Like, I don't get it. And then they just decided she'd look a lot better with freckles. Let's just paint a whole bunch of them on her face that look ridiculous. I guess that was the plan because she looks so stupid with those things on her. Chlorophyll green is an actual color in Troll 2. Don't tell me they ate him, Grandpa. That's exactly what happened. Dude, he's so creepy. And he has like this creepy smile, Grandpa Seth. That's it's such a creepy smile. Like this kid would have nightmares every single night from seeing his dead grandfather. The mom in this movie might be the most frightening thing in this movie. She always looks like a deer in the headlights, which she looks terrifying. Like absolutely terrifying. So apparently Joshua has been seeing a shrink in one way or another, a doctor, about him seeing Grandpa Seth, who died 6 months prior to the events of this movie. So we know this kid's a little fucked up already to begin with. Teenage girl workout montage, apparently. Alright, so I don't know if this is a thing. Like, I'm sure this really is. Probably somewhere in the world. But swapping houses with another family from the country and having them come live in your place while you go live in their place, I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure it is a thing because nothing surprises me nowadays. Would never do this. Like, who would do this and let somebody, some strange family, into your house with all of your possessions and your belongings, everything that you've worked hard for to have in your house? They could be. That would be such a great scam. Go around into this whatever it is. Is it a program that they have to sign up for? I don't know, but sign up for this program. Switch houses under, use fake names and everything like that, and then just rob them blind. Just do the same thing over and over again. Like I said, don't know if it's an actual thing. If it is, any criminals out there, get at it. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And you can thank Troll 2 for that opportunity. Anybody who's first time viewing this movie didn't know instantly that Nilbog is goblin backwards, I don't know what to say. Because it is so obvious. And it's such a stupid name, Nilbog. And yeah, the only reason they named it that is because it's goblin backwards. If anyone didn't notice that, I question how much they pay attention to movies. Because it's so fucking obvious. Tell me which statement is worse here. By the boyfriend of the daughter, that when she kicks him in the balls, he says, "What are you trying to make me, a homo?" Or when she says, "If my dad catches you here, he's going to cut off your nuts and eat them." That the father's going to eat the boyfriend's nuts. The answer is both are absolutely insane. Are you serious? I don't know anyone who likes a girl, or like it's their girlfriend, who loves their friend so much that they can't just go by themselves on this trip with his girlfriend, and instead has to still drag his friends there for any reason. Makes no sense. Referring to your boyfriend as Beau in America. Every time I've seen this movie, when they're in the car, and then the mom says, "Joshua, why don't you start singing that song I love so much?" And it turns out being "Row, Row, Row Your Boat." You gotta love this movie, man. Badly played banjo and slide guitar music as driving into the country. I don't know why this guy and his friends think that Nilbog is the capital of like liberated women, beautiful girls that they're going to be able to pick up while they're there, but apparently that's what they think. So they're going to be very disappointed when they get to Nilbog. Joshua's whole dream sequence in the car when he turns into a plant, then they turn into the goblins, and anyone who's seen this movie, even once, knows what I'm talking about with that one goblin, the suit that they made for that one particular goblin with the bulged out eyes is so funny. Like, I can't help but giggle every time I see that. Yep, there he is. Fucking dude, I can't. It's hysterical. Now, we've already established that the kid has issues, that he's seeing Grandpa Seth, his dead grandpa, everywhere. But if my kid got out, like, said he had to puke, and we had to pull over, and then immediately went and started talking to something that isn't there, that the rest of us can't see Grandpa Seth, and he's just talking to nothing, my kid would be immediately, we would take a fucking different route. We would turn away from the countryside that we're going to Nilbog, and we'd be going to the nearest hospital, just to make sure what's going on with my kid. But they're just nonchalant. Oh, he's just talking to somebody. It's Grandpa Seth again. Like, get the fuck out of here. Ad break. DoorDash is hiring. If any of you love driving around and wasting so much gas and paying so much money for it that you end up so impoverished that you're living under a bridge with one or two people you might have used to known back like 20 years ago in your life. They start saying, the parents, how they're farmers now because they're living on a farm. Yeah, we don't see anyone in that family farming for any bit of time throughout this whole movie. So bullshit on the farmer Waitses. Alright, and even if I suspended disbelief enough for this whole house swapping thing to exist, one look at this family that's supposedly going to live in their house, immediately turn around and drive home. Are you serious? Do you see this family and the weird fucking way they talk? They're not going anywhere near my house. They all have shamrock matching tattoos also. No, we find out later they're moles, not tattoos. But still, you get the gist. The father starts to list the appliances that they have in the house. He's like, oh, they got a microwave, video. It's like all the other appliances, and then you think that's it. Like, good, we're saved. But then he starts like rattling off another two or three. I don't know. Then, if this is their whole plan for all the goblins and stuff in this town is to turn them to plants and eat them, why does the kid in the family that's supposedly going to stay at their house throw a ball at Joshua for him to catch that says "Eat before we eat you" on it? Wouldn't you want that element of surprise if that was your whole plan to eat these people? I don't know. I don't get it. And no one is at least a little bit suspicious that all the food that was prepared for them when they first walk into this house has green shit all over it. Like, come on! Now, this is a famous scene in this movie when they're passing around the food, and Grandpa Seth shows up to Joshua and says, "You have 30 seconds," and freezes time for Joshua to try to figure out a way for them not to eat the food. First of all, it's not 30 seconds, it's like 45 seconds or so, so they fucked up on that part. Second, he couldn't have thought of any other way. Just like take your arm and slide it across the table and knock all the food and glass to the ground and they won't eat that way. Nope, he has to, I must do it, I must, and pisses all over the food. Oh, it's so great. You gotta love this movie. It is amazing. Cinematic masterpiece right here, Troll 2. And you can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it. Apologies, guys, if that hurt your ears drums a little bit. And yeah, the first thought you would have is, why don't they just take more food out of the fridge and eat? Like he says he has to fucking tighten his belt one notch to avoid hunger pains, and that the sister and the mom have to do the same thing. Hilarious lines. Why couldn't they just get more food out of the fridge? Now, we don't know at this point, if you're watching it for the first time, that there's nothing in the fridge except for milk, Nilbog milk, that turns you into a plant. But I'm sure they didn't empty out their fridge. Like, who does that? That's not suspicious either. Like, when they finally do look in the fridge and it's completely cleaned out, except for like 7, 8 cartons of milk, that's suspicious as hell. And I'm sure that they didn't empty their fridge out of everything and just left them a few gallons of milk in there from their house. So, I don't know. They should know that something's up just from that. Nobody cleans out their entire refrigerator. Chasing after a strange girl with green shit on her face. And listen here, Mr. Oh my god guy. They are not dwarfs. They are fucking goblins. Get your shit right. And he starts talking to him, and then when he walks away, he's like, and another thing, and then they throw a spear, and it just sticks right to his shoulder. Hilarious. Just having the name Credence Leonore Guildgould. Honestly, I don't know how that witch woman, whoever played her, didn't win an Academy Award for this film. You know how they always say, don't leave your drink around unattended in a bar or a club and stuff like that? Another important drink rule, don't ever take a drink from a stranger that is brewing like a fucking potion. Like, come on, really? I don't want to sound like a dick here, but I would let the girl take the first few sips. Like, I'm not getting poisoned or turned into a plant. Are you serious? I'll let her take a sip or two, assess the situation, say, all right, she seems to be fine, or oh shit, she's dying, and then just not drink that drink. Not that I would ever drink it in the first place, but that's my plan. They're eating her, and then they're going to eat me. Oh my god! What a classic scene. Now, was that fly intended? The fly that's sticking on his forehead when he says, oh my god? Because if it was, brilliant. If it wasn't, that is one of the that is a happy accident of galactic fucking proportions that a fly flew on his head during that. I'd love to know if that was intended or not. Absolutely hysterical. And that girl is now one with the vegetable world. The more you know. It's almost like they knew when they made this movie that that one funny ass goblin face would go on to be the one that's most remembered, because in every scene with the goblins, that one particular one is just right center frame most of the time. So they had to have known that this ridiculous ass looking goblin is going to go on and be remembered. And hey, it was. So can't fault them. They were thinking on their feet. So Grandpa Seth shows up in the mirror like an evil Wizard of Oz for the daughter, and she freaks the fuck out. And the only thing I can think of and look around and notice is that the people who live in this house, they were nice enough to put up signs to tell them which bedroom everyone is sleeping in. There's a sign that says Mr. and Mrs. Waits on the master bedroom. So that's some nice goblin hospitality for you. You hear this shit in so many movies where a character sees something that's unexplainable, and then the parent comes in and says, "Are you smoking dope? Are you smoking pot?" or something like that. I've smoked plenty of pot in my life. I have never seen my dead grandfather. Not once. Nor my dead grandmother, or my other dead grandparents, or any dead person at all. Never once. But apparently this is what the father thinks marijuana will do to you, is you will see your dead grandparent in a mirror. And that's a whole nother thing, is how do the rules for Grandpa Seth work? Because it seems like he has to be talking into a mirror, Joshua, to summon him. I mean, I guess summon him is the best word. And the daughter sees him in a mirror too. And then at some point in this movie, when he's trying to call Grandpa Seth, he's looking in the rearview mirror of a car. But yet at the beginning of this movie, there's no mirror. He's sleeping in bed, and Grandpa Seth's ass is sitting in a fucking rocking chair. Sitting in a rocking chair telling them the story. So there was no mirror in play there. So I don't know the rules on Grandpa Seth. I just know he's creepy as shit. Still on the whole thing with the grandpa. Do you have to is it like Candyman? Do you have to say his name, Grandpa Seth, like 5 times in the mirror, and then all of a sudden his ghost comes, kills you? Like, if you guys don't see a video from me ever again, you'll know that I went against my fucking better thought and judgment, went into the bathroom and said Grandpa Seth 5 times, and he came and does whatever he does to me, and I died. So, if you don't see any more videos, Grandpa Seth got me. Dude, the whole line of the friend in the trailer, when he's like looking in the fridge and he's like, there's no coffee, there's no milk, there's nothing. That is so funny. That's one of the funniest lines in this movie. Nilbog having a cop called Gene Freak. That's one hell of a name. Correction, he is Sheriff Gene Freak. Not just a police officer, he is a sheriff. So Sheriff Gene Freak. Does Gene Freak, the sheriff, always carry green fucking disgusting food around just in case he happens upon someone that's not from town that he can turn into a plant? Because he just handed that kid that he picked up a sandwich with green shit all over it, like every other food in this movie. He just keeps it there. He wouldn't eat it. He's a goblin. So none of that makes sense. This kid doesn't get suspicious at all that he walks into a delicatessen or a grocery store and there's at least a dozen townfolk that are staring at him intensely and don't say a word. If you're from out of town somewhere and you're in a town visiting and you go into a grocery store or anywhere and the guy tells you that they don't have coffee in the entire town and that it's the devil's drink, run like a motherfucker. Was grabbing a drink real fast, but they give free milk out in Nilbog. So, not too bad of a place, actually. Nilbog. It's goblin spelled backwards. What a great line. Now, the friend who got the free milk from the creepy-ass grocery store guy takes one sip of it and then just gags and spits it out and drops the container on the floor. So apparently it does not taste good at all. I don't know if it's because they're all vegetarians. Maybe there's not, I haven't seen one. Maybe there's not a fucking cow in the entire, area of Nilbog. But that might explain why it tastes like shit. Because it's not from a cow. Just spitballing ideas here. Having to introduce yourself as Credence Leonore Gilgould every single time you meet somebody. Honestly, I don't know how the child actor who played Joshua didn't win a child's award for this movie. Man, the new Lincolns are looking pretty nice. Nothing to do with the movie, just ad break. But the new Lincolns, pretty sexy, I gotta tell you. Forget about Joshua's like calling his sanity into question that he could see his dead grandpa. I'm starting to question my sanity that at 3:30 in the morning, which is my only free time here while I'm up here with my daughter, I'd rather spend it watching Troll 2. So I might have to commit myself very soon. And don't forget, guys, it is Candy Crush's 10th anniversary since it first was released. So they have a special on Candy Crush if you love that game. This is the type of shit in America that we make important for some reason. Like when they announce Mickey Mouse's fucking birthday on the news. This is why the rest of the world hates us. Even Joshua's skateboard has a bunch of green all over it. Dude, this motherfucker has arms that stretch like Dalsim from fucking Street Fighter. The guy who, when Joshua was like spying on the little goblin ceremony or sermon, whatever's going on down there, and he's looking through the hole in the ceiling, then the guy's arm just like reaches up and grabs his face. Guy's got the longest, stretchiest arms. He's like Stretch Armstrong. The sister asks Elliot, her boyfriend, to choose between her and his friends, and he says, I don't understand. So he didn't understand that question for some reason, and she proceeds to knee him in the balls. Oh, no, that's earlier. Punches him in the face. So she needs like anger management because she's already kneed him in the balls and turned him into a homo, his words, and now just like decked him in the face. So we have to get her and Joshua into a safe, secure building that they can't get out of at all costs as soon as possible. That one famous goblin licking his lips. Fucking funny. I gotta say, Nilbog ice cream doesn't sound too bad. Like for a town, it's absolutely stupid. For ice cream, Nilbog, not too bad. I might buy it. I would try some Nilbog ice cream. Just letting you know, I feel like ice cream and we have none. The father doesn't find it at all suspicious when he comes and saves Joshua that all of the people, including the ones that were supposed to go to his house that are still here, that they all have the shamrock mole on them. I mean, sure, you're not going to believe they're goblins, but you could start thinking they're part of a crazy cult or some shit, and that mole or tattoo, if he saw it as that, is a sign that they're all part of a cult. You can start thinking that direction. He doesn't think anything at all is wrong. When the friend comes, the milk friend, comes into Credence Leonore Gilgould, or whatever the fuck her name is, house and finds the oh my god kid as a plant and tries helping him out of there. He's pulling him from from the bottom, like from the pot that it's planted in, and just slowly like sliding him out of the house is absolutely hysterical. Then she says that he's going to be punished for trying to escape. And I haven't seen this movie in years, so I didn't remember this part. But they start, like, I'm thinking, how are you going to punish him? He's already half plant, half human. This bitch whips out a fucking chainsaw. Like, it escalates so fast from like 0 to fucking 20 out of 10. Pulls out a chainsaw and then starts just like hacking away at him, and his body's like, awesome. That occasion we've all experienced when an entire town breaks into your house for the time being and puts together an entire feast for you with music and everything. Oh, I miss those times. Grandpa Seth gives Joshua a Molotov cocktail to take care of these goblins. Hey, there was one piece of cake, one piece, that didn't have green all over it. It was just white frosting with some red frosting around it. That's the one you eat. If you had to eat anything. But apparently, that won't turn you into a plant. And yeah, the mom is still the scariest fucking thing in this movie. And then Credence, the witch lady, turns into a goblin and jumps through the mirror and scares the shit out of Josh. And Grandpa Seth shows up with an axe or something and chops the fucking hand off the goblin. And then the goblin just flies back into the mirror and all the glass perfectly goes back and the mirror looks like it was never damaged at all. And then we see her missing her hand and stuff. Amazing performance by this woman. I said she should have gotten an Academy Award. There's that creepy ass smile on Grandpa Seth again. So yeah, Grandpa Seth gives Joshua a fucking Molotov cocktail, and he's about to throw it into the house they're staying. His family's in there. I don't know what the plan was for that, but then the main dude with like the fluffy, almost afro-y black hair, like the leader, he ends up saying to Grandpa Seth that he's from the king of the what the hell is he? The kingdom of shadows. And then he says, by the magic stone, I send you back to hell. So Grandpa Seth is from hell, apparently. Makes a lot of sense, actually. And then the Molotov cocktail goes off in the guy's hands, the main dude, and he's burnt to a crisp, which I'm surprised they even got a fire stunt to this movie, and turns into his regular form of a goblin when the smoke clears. So now the whole family knows Joshua's not crazy and that the goblins are real and they are going to fucking eat you and kill you. Or kill you and eat you, right? That would be the right way. Or not, actually, because they were eating the girl with the oh my god dude. They were eating her while she's still alive. So it doesn't matter which order, kill, then eat, or eat, then kill. Doesn't matter for this movie. None of this matters at all. Like this whole movie. But let's keep rushing on to the end here. Thinking a fire extinguisher is going to protect you from a dozen town folks who are actually goblins. Apparently, the magic rock that they worship and shit, not only can it fix a severed hand, but it can also turn fucking disgustingly ugly women into beautiful women. And that's what happened to Credence here. Again, say what you will about the goblins in Nilbog, but they are very hospitable. Gene Freak shows up at the house and says, "Eat these sandwiches by the morning. If not, then we'll have to kill you violently." So they're still very, very forgiving when it comes to, I don't know, killing fucking people. I mean, once you know that goblins are real, like the family finds out here, having a ghost of Grandpa Seth isn't so inconceivable. Apparently, the magical rock can also make you become a TV program as well. All right, that whole scene with the witch woman making out with the friend in the RV with a corn on the cob in between their mouths, eating it as they're like dry humping, and then popcorn just starts popping around all over the place. It's pretty inspired. Like I'll give it that. It's a pretty decent idea. If it was in any other movie but this one. Oh, ad break, by the way. If you're thinking of dying anytime soon, you need Colonial Penn's life insurance policy. Just letting you know if you're planning on checking out anytime soon. So, they're having a seance now to bring Grandpa Seth into play to help them. Sister's idea. Again, what are the rules? Like, up till now, it's been all mirrors. That if he's in a mirror or a reflection or something, that's how Grandpa Seth comes. Now they're having a seance. I don't fucking. Sheriff Gene Freak saying, I don't like this. Why aren't they showing any signs of life? Is just a terrible line of dialogue. So now they have only 10 minutes to try to solve this goblin problem by destroying the magic stone. Otherwise, Grandpa Seth is going to be gone forever this time. So for some reason, he has a clock on his ability of being in the real world for some reason, and then he has to go back to hell, where he's from. And how hard could it be to kick the shit out of these goblins? I mean, like, the guy wasn't totally wrong earlier in the movie when he calls them dwarfs. I know I can kick the shit out of a dwarf. No problem. I can kick the shit out of a few dwarfs, like, before they gang up on me. So I don't know why they have such an issue here. They should be able to, like, they don't have any super strength. That's never brought up. So that's, if they do, that's something that we are never told. And the fact that all they eat, I'm not saying vegetarians are weaker, but they don't eat meat. They don't, no protein, nothing like that. So, like, I would imagine they'd be pretty easy to fight off, but they're not for some reason. And it's hilarious that like half the goblins are like the size they should be when they're in the house fighting the family, and the other half are like pretty much as tall as the father. Like, it's fucking funny, man. Why do the goblins have green shit on their mouths and faces if they didn't eat anything yet? Grandpa Seth has arrived with that creepy grin on his face again. Oh, and that's right. The magic stone they worship is apparently from Stonehenge. Just figured I'd throw that bit of info in there. I can't with that one goblin with his face. Every time he shows up, I crack up. It's too funny. Exactly what was the witch woman's plan with the popcorn and stuff? Like, isn't she supposed to be turning these people into plants for food? What was the whole deal with that? With the popcorn scene? Didn't seem to have any thought behind it on her part or have anything to do with anything in the movie, which is what makes it fucking hysterical. But I don't know what she was thinking with that or how that helps the goblins in any way, shape, or form. So Grandpa Seth has to leave now and tells Joshua that it's the power of goodness that defeats the goblins. Now, they're a good family. Like, you don't see any, like, big trouble or, like, drama in their family issues, nothing like that. They seem like a well rounded, good family. Isn't that enough goodness? Or do they need extra goodness? Do they have to be, like, I don't know. It makes no sense. But they are a good family, so that should be the power of goodness. They shouldn't have an issue. As soon as they got to this fucking town, they shouldn't have had to deal with any goblins, because as soon as they entered Nilbog, all the goblins should have exploded into nothingness by the power of goodness that is that family. If that makes sense. Probably not. But oh, this movie is so bad, man. Like, these people must have really, really needed a day's worth of food to work on this movie or to be cast and act in this movie or have anything to do with this movie at all. They must have been literally starving and just had to take a job just so they can buy some groceries for the week. If not, their houses look like the house they show up with. There's nothing in the fridge except for some Nilbog milk, apparently. A double-decker bologna sandwich. Okay, so for the power of goodness thing, apparently then the rest of the family shows up and they all put their hands on the magical stone, and that's what destroys all the goblins. So apparently the goodness has to touch the magic stone. So I take back what I said earlier. But in that case, couldn't have Grandpa Seth just told him from the get-go, all right, well, you're going to Nilbog, that's where the goblins are. Just make sure you and your family press their asses up against this stone for a good few minutes before you go to the house, then you can enjoy your stay in Nilbog. Would have saved these people a lot of trouble. Well, they got away, they killed the goblins, and all is well in Tinseltown. And then the mother eats an apple left in their fridge by maybe the other goblins who were supposed to go and swap houses with them. As the kid from the goblin family's ball falls down the stairs and says, "Yummy, mom is so good." Dun dun dun! And they're eating his mother. She turned into plant mush from the apple, and they're eating the mom, which for some reason the plant mush has like big breasts on it. Didn't think that was a needed addition, but whatever at this point. It doesn't really matter what they throw at the screen now. And so Joshua screams and freezes on his face as he's screaming, and that is the end of Troll 2. And by the way, he's praying to Grandpa Seth, saying thanks for all the help and everything, and I hope you're okay up there. We know he's from hell, apparently, so no, he's not okay up there. He is not okay down there. So just have to fix that little whatever line of dialogue that makes no sense. But that's Troll 2, and I'm really hating myself for doing this movie tonight for no reason. But I was going to do another video after this, but since I had that whole malfunction with my computer earlier, and I had to redo the first whatever amount of minutes of this video and rewatch the fucking thing for like a half hour, yeah, it's like when you need to get a bad taste out of your mouth. I'm just going to watch something a lot better and then just go to sleep. But I will have Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 and 4 up tomorrow night, well, tomorrow night into the morning, late morning, whatever it is. And yeah, I hope everyone from America had a great Thanksgiving, happy and healthy. And wherever you're from, hope you're having a good morning or a good night. And I will see you guys soon. Take care.